Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. Some of you may recall that in October last year I did a crowdfunding preview for a new gamebook from author Michael Ward called Destiny Quest Raiders Tides of Terror. This book promised a compelling adventure with top-class writing and a brand new style of combat. Dice were out, and now each fight was a puzzle to solve, adding greater depth to what is traditionally one of the weaker aspects of choose-your-own-adventure books. Well, that crowdfunding campaign was a success, and just recently I received a beautiful review copy of Destiny Quest Raiders Tides of Terror in the post, along with the combat pad, a very useful companion publication. I'll talk more about the physical books a little later in the video. First I want to talk about the game, and don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything about the adventure in this video. I am sure most people know how these books traditionally work. You take on the role of a hero and you are plunged into an adventure where you are frequently presented with choices. Do you take the mountain pass or enter the abandoned mines? Do you try to befriend the unusual creature stalking you, or do you gut it like a fish? The choices you make direct you to different passages in the book, and gradually you forge your own narrative from an ever-branching path. A narrative that will often be cut short by a bad decision or ill-fated encounter. Destiny Quest Raiders takes that core idea, but layers in some very interesting new, or infrequently used, additions to great effect. First, you aren't playing a lone hero, you are developing a narrative for a team of heroes. That absolutely opens up the space for interesting storytelling and compelling choices. In Tides of Terror, it's not common to be presented with a simple choice like will you go left or right. Instead, you will be presented with choices dictated by the attitudes of the characters in your team. Will you charge recklessly into battle like Scarlet the Archer would, or will you take Johann's more careful approach? This makes the decision points feel much more natural. They aren't arbitrary choices, they are choices derived from the tensions in the group. Characters with different personalities, different fighting styles, different histories, and different levels of education see the same situation in different ways, and that forces you to consider which character you would align with. It can also help you to make more informed decisions. If you are presented with the ruins of an ancient civilization, and you aren't paying close attention to the character who has studied that civilization, you only have yourself to blame when bad things happen. Real decisions evolving from real characters with real personalities is certainly an extension of a concerted effort by Michael to create a compelling story with an engaging plot. This isn't a series of small paragraphs linking together gameplay choices. You will often be presented with considerable passages of text, with characters talking about their backstories, motivations, thoughts, and feelings. The prologue that introduces you to your first two characters is 9 pages long, and then there is another full page of text before you ever make a decision. Nevertheless, this is still a game book, and one that actually balances game and book very well. The strength of the story feeds into the gameplay and makes it more compelling, and it does matter when the choices you make end in disaster for the people you have started to care for. Furthermore, Michael has ensured it's a game you can replay. As you progress through the story, you will collect certain choice words like sacrifice and bond. These words will open up, or close off, certain options as the adventure continues, and even if you ultimately win, there are at least 6 different endings to unlock based on the path you took to get there. Additionally, there are 6 different achievements to unlock, 9 if you have the combat pad, many of which grant special abilities that will persist from game to game, and as you earn experience points, you will be able to access new skills for your characters too, but you will never get enough experience in a single playthrough to unlock all of the skills available to your team, so there is incentive to fight your way through the story multiple times. That leads us on to the final and probably most interesting aspect of Tides of Terror, the combat. Every encounter with monsters in this game is presented as an optimization puzzle, in which you have to use your character's abilities effectively to neutralize threats before they can hit you. Here's an example of an encounter with some goblin warriors and goblin spearmen. The enemies are formed up in 2 ranks in front of our heroes. Each has a number of squares representing wounds, and a number in a triangle representing how much damage they inflict. Some monsters will also have special abilities. Combat starts with each of the heroes selecting one ability to attack with. At the beginning, they only have one ability each. Johann can inflict 2 wounds on any monster in rank 1, that's the bottom closest rank. Scarlet can inflict 1 wound on any monster in rank 1 or 2, so it's a weaker attack, but it has greater range. Let's say Johann attacks the closest goblin on the left, and Scarlet shoots the goblin directly behind. We mark off the squares of damage accordingly. Then the monsters retaliate. All the monsters in rank 1 can attack. Additionally, enemies in rank 2 can attack if they have a ranged weapon, which these goblins do not. So in this example we take 8 damage from the 3 goblins in rank 1. After the monsters have fought, the heroes get to go again if they haven't been defeated. So Johann inflicts another 2 wounds on the front goblin, killing it. As soon as a rank 1 monster is killed, any monsters behind it shuffle forwards, so our injured goblin is now in rank 1 and could attack next turn. Unfortunately for him, he won't get a chance because Scarlet uses her attack to finish him off. The goblins then attack again, but this time they only inflict 5 wounds on the heroes. We've got this in the bag. And of course, this is a very simple basic example. Later in the game, when you are facing 3 ranks of enemies with special abilities, and you have 2 or 3 skills per hero to pick from, some of which can only be used once per fight, it gets quite thinky. If you don't take down the enemies in the right order, you will die. Fortunately, you do have access to crystals that will allow you to reset the fight and try again. So that's it really, that's Destiny Quest Raiders. And I think if this is the sort of thing you are interested in, you will have already decided if it's worth picking up or not. But let's take a closer look at the physical production. The gamebook is quite nicely made, weighs in just shy of 500 pages and has lovely art on the cover depicting our heroes, one of which does look a little bit like old Greg unfortunately. Font is a little small, but it's well spaced and the paragraph numbers are clear, which makes navigation easy. Rules are in the very front, along with a team chart for tracking all the items you find on your quest, and pictures of the 4 heroes with their starting abilities and potential upgrades. That's followed by 2 pages of achievements with checkboxes to track your progress towards completing them, a list of choice words that will be important for determining how your adventure unfolds, and then a key for the different skills monsters can have. The adventure gets underway on page 25, and then all the combat charts are in the back, starting at page 421. Overall, it's a solid production. My one real complaint is there is no artwork throughout the adventure, only the character profiles at the front and small portraits for enemies in the combat charts at the back. When I think back to the old fighting fantasy books I used to play, the full page artwork of the various fiends that would invariably eat me were an integral part of immersing myself in those worlds. Those stunning pictures help to bring the fantasy to life, and while the artwork that is included in Tides of Terror is very good, I really would have liked to see a lot more. Now, you may have noticed there's a lot more note-taking to do in this game than other gamebooks. You have to make notes on your character record, check off choice words, log achievements, and mark combat charts as you fight your way to victory. To make things a bit easier, you can purchase a separate combat pad, and I think this is a great idea. It's a larger format than the Tides of Terror gamebook, so you have a lot more space to make your notes, and the enemy character portraits on the charts are larger, so you can get a better look at the artwork. It also has a lot of added value. A 7-page strategy guide, a page of bonus achievements you can try to unlock, and a double-page rogues gallery to showcase some more of the monster art. But what I really like is the team sheets, the choice word sheet, and all of the combat charts are doubled up, so you can play through the story twice before you need to consider buying another combat pad or using the charts and record sheets printed in the gamebook. I think if you're playing the game on the go, you probably will want to stick with making all your notes in the gamebook itself, so you only need to carry one book around with you. But if you are curled up in your favourite chair by the fire, sipping a cup of tea as you venture into a fantastical world, the combat pad is a really useful accessory. So there we go, that's Tides of Terror, a gamebook in which a group of brave adventurers go on a quest in search of treasure, form lasting bonds of friendship, and perhaps just save the world in the process. These books are from Troubadour Games, they are also available on Amazon. Recommended retail price for the gamebook is £18.99, the combat pad is £11.99. I will put some links in the video description below so you can check them out if you want to. And that's it from me for now. All that's left to do is to thank Michael for sending these books for review and to thank you for watching. If you like the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone, bye bye.